Cheers.
Yes, cheers.
Having a mad giant, extra fresh.
Having a darling.
Darling?
Darling.
Reminds me of Blackadder Goes Forth. You know, Captain Darling.
Oh, I don't know. That's before my time.
It's before a lot of people's time.
No.
Yeah, so we've decided to join a bit of a debate. I don't know if it's a debate out there, it's a debate among us.
I think it is a debate with the European
Maybe
press.
just put that on your, so that people can
Hello?
actually hear what you're saying.
Testing.
On your tie there,
Yes.
and start again.
Yes. I think the Europeans are questioning whether we should be in the European competitions. And I, after watching the Bulls this weekend, have that same question. And watching the Sharks crash out, I mean, last Sunday, getting absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, the Lions just can't, they just don't win games.
Yeah, yeah.
So should we be there? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of it from the standpoint of squad size and South African players being spread all across Europe and Japan, even America. There are a few quality players. So if we were able to keep more talent in the country, in those four franchises, then I think
we'd be
we would
competitive.
have been able to compete better.
Yeah.
But that's also a worldwide problem. I mean,
that's for everyone. I mean,
I think it's bigger problem.
Look at the
for
Welsh.
us.
The Welsh, they lose some players like Dan Bigger was playing for. Who was he playing for? Racing, and wasn't he? Who all was he playing for?
Yeah, not even sure.
A French team.
Yeah.
I think, and the same
Owen
with
Farrell. He's playing for.
Yes, and the man. If you think about the Scottish teams as well, they don't have 100% their best players. I mean, Finn Russell as well. Sorry, I think he's playing for Racing. Sorry.
Yeah.
So the smaller teams and the teams with less clout in terms of the Rand is not a beacon of strength in the world.
No, definitely not. Even if you've got American investors or Patrice Motsepe, who's one of the wealthiest people in South Africa, backing you, you can't compete with Japanese and French teams and any of the European teams basically. And so at the Bulls we get frustrated because a lot of the players that are bought are past their best, right?
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
So we're buying a Jacques Duplessis, a Jaco van der Walt.
Jaco van der Walt, who was looking good at Edinburgh, comes to the Bulls and gets absolutely no game time.
Yeah.
You know?
Even, and I hate to say this, a Johan Goosen, a Harold Foster.
Yeah.
There was a time when we were bringing in new young talent, under 20. Okay, we have to an extent done that with Cameron Hanekom, so we mustn't be too harsh.
And the lock van Heerden, what's his name?
Yeah.
JF or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you think back to the glory days of the Bulls, I mean, all those guys were coming through from under 21 and we're bringing in...
benching guys who almost starts at the Springboks, like Donny Rousseau.
I don't understand.
Donny Rousseau was locked behind Victor and Bucky's.
Yes, yeah.
And he's he benches for the Bulls and benches for the Springboks.
Yeah, he's a bomb squad player, you know. Yeah.
But we've got the Bulls. If we just focus on the Bulls for a little bit, they've got a lot more Springboks now than they had 2-3 seasons ago.
Yes, it is getting, but it comes back to what you said now is it seems we like to buy has-beens, and I don't like to say has-beens actually, because Willie Leroux is still a great player.
Guys coming towards
the end of their careers.
Yeah.
And that's not anything. That's not their fault or anything. It's. I mean, they have to go and make their money.
Yeah.
It would be nice if, and this remains to be seen, is whether we can keep the current young stock of Bulls, that they don't just get bought, when we make a semi-final of a one day of a Challenge Cup or a Champions Cup or whatever.
But currently watching the South African teams specifically in the Champions and Challenge Cup is frustrating.
It's too frustrating. Either we send a very poor team, or like we did with the Bulls. I don't understand why we start with like Kane and Moody on the bench, and I mean these Springbok players. Why are we playing them
Is
off the
the
bench?
Keegan Johannes experiment at fly half? Is it really working?
Do we not have a fly off? I don't understand how we don't have a backup fly off. Because what's happening as well is we're going to ruin a perfectly good scrum half.
Yeah.
Keegan Johannes is an excellent scrum half.
Yeah.
Now he has to play a fly off, and people are like, well, he doesn't.
So what are you doing there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And David Kriel, we all thought his best position is inside centre, and we're like, where is Stedman Gans? Is he injured?
Yes. We're playing Harold Foster at inside.
Sticking with Harold Foster, moving David Kriel to outside, and like we were saying, yes, this guy needs to get a look in the Springbok setup at inside centre, and he keeps playing at outside centre. It doesn't sound like a huge difference, but if you watch a lot of rugby, it's actually a massive difference.
Yeah. Anyway, we digress.
Yeah.
So, what are we going to do to should the teams? Shouldn't there be like a sort of pressure from the fans to say, look, take the Challenge Cup and the Champions Cup more seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, our game against Northampton Saints last year.
Yeah.
Sending a completely second-string team.
No, that's complete waste of time. It's a complete waste of my time in front of the TV.
Yes, and gives me a stomach ulcer.
Yeah. No. That's
you want to go there, at least show them a little bit of what we can do, and then you go, send a random team. And that's been the general experience throughout.
Yeah. Exeter, that one game against Exeter Chiefs, we watched the game at a restaurant here in Pretoria, and we watched it with the first team Bulls players.
Yeah.
And the second string were playing.
Well, they were at a different table. We're not that close.
No, we didn't watch it with. We don't know them.
Yeah.
We took a photo with them and stuff, but,
we're like,
but they were actually in the restaurant with us, and we were getting pummeled by Exeter.
Yeah. And you can see
so that we can play a better team the week after that.
And that also failed
in the URC, and then we lost again in the URC in any case.
Yeah.
When that happens, it's the worst.
Yeah.
You rest a bunch of guys, you play whoever in the URC, and you lose in any case. Yeah,
I mean, especially if you think we're going to play against Munster now next week. I think we're playing Munster next week. Munster, who I thought had an excellent game against that French team.
Bordeaux. Now,
no, last weekend.
Last week, but this week they got smashed by Bordeaux.
They got smashed, but what I'm saying to you is...
And then Johan Janssen van Rensburg is playing for Bordeaux. He was at the Sharks just the other day. Surely you could have worked at the Sharks.
Could definitely. But what I wanted to say about this is, now we have to play Munster away next weekend after losing to Edinburgh. It's just, it's mental. It's crazy, but it's like it's a psychological blow. Yeah.
If you look at what, maybe currently Franco Smith is not a good example, but what coaches like Franco Smith can get out of fairly unknowns to us.
Yeah.
Maybe Johan Ackerman with the Lions playing in 3 Super Rugby finals. Do we have the quality of coaches at these 4 unions?
I also wonder.
It's the same.
I don't want to lose faith in our coach.
It comes back to the money thing. Like, you want the 4 best South African coaches to coach these 4 4 unions.
Yeah.
And you've got a Johan Ackerman overseas, you've got a Franco Smith overseas, you've got Brendan Venter, who's now going to help with the under-20s. Johan Ackerman's coming in a consultancy role. So maybe Rassi's looking at the whole thing and saying, listen, we need better coaching at these unions to keep the Springboks strong.
We need one superstar provincial team.
Yeah.
Where they're killing everyone. Even, I know it sucks, but let's say the Sharks, for instance. Yeah. Let's say they're absolutely drilling all opposition. They make a final. If they lose in a final, I mean, that can happen. Yeah. But let's say we have one great team, and the others all lose. That's also fine.
Yeah, that's what often happens. I mean, you don't want to, like Leinster at the moment is just...
They're outrageous.
I mean, what can you say?
Yeah.
Smashing 2 teams back to back in Europe by like 60, 70, whatever points.
Yeah.
You know?
2-0.
2-0. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like EA Sports rugby or whatever. You know?
Look, we're complaining, but the Bulls are third in the URC. The Sharks are fourth.
I know, but it's still frustrating.
Yeah, but I don't like the kind of rugby that I'm watching at the moment.
Not just that. Like it's fine that we're third and etc. I just feel like it still comes back to us buying these old players, bringing these old players in. We're third, but are we gonna win? Are we gonna beat Leinster? Can we challenge Leinster?
It's like I don't
with older guys, and you need a bit of exuberance of youth and
like that day when we went to Dublin.
Yeah.
How many seasons ago? 3 seasons ago. Janku Swanepoel was still playing. Like when we beat Leinster in Ireland. I mean that was the best I've seen the Bulls play in a long time.
Yeah, against
the full strength
Leinster. We did have more nice Stein though.
Yeah, it was a different game.
Yeah.
I don't think this team can do that.
Question is, are you too harsh? Like you just said.
Yeah.
Our team's third. We have beaten Leinster in Dublin. Maybe you and I are just harsh. It's just
we're thinking back of the Chiefs. 2009?
Yeah.
Winning a Super Rugby final with a 64-29 scoreline. That's what we remember. Maybe that's what we're holding on to. You know.
Yeah. It's just and I said it to you as well yesterday or whenever. Is that yes, that happened, but for a long time we sucked in Super Rugby as well.
So bad.
So maybe our provincial teams they just suck, and we must just put up with it and hope for a good Springbok team.
I think it's an extremely difficult thing to manage rugby all year round, which is not something that happened in Super Rugby. I'm talking provincial rugby. I mean, how long does the URC take a break for? I don't even know. It just feels like there's always rugby now.
Well, it feels like
for the whole year.
There's also always breaks because of Six Nations and but anyway.
But
it is hard
we
to
watch
manage
everything. Yeah,
it's hard to manage the load. It is.
You need a big squad. Leinster's got a big squad, a big powerful squad. I mean, if you think of a Jack Conan and a Kalen Doris,
they sent a team now that beat the Sharks.
Yeah.
Remember they played against us and they had some of their top guys, Erge Snyman, but generally it was like a second team, and then they had an
Geordie Barrett. I mean, come on, that's unfair.
I know. I want that sort of. Imagine we could buy Geordie Barrett and we'd never do it, but
if we could just get Erge Snyman back at the Bulls,
or a guy like Andre Pollard.
Well, he's apparently coming back. Coming in July. Now, apparently, Kirtley's not coming back. They're going to keep him in Japan. I just saw that now. Probably speculation. Those are the kind of guys you need back at the Bulls.
I mean,
Kirtley Arendse.
Talking about Kenan Moody just now. Like, he is just better than Sergio Peterson.
No, he's definitely better than Devin Williams. I mean, you love the guy. He plays his heart out and stuff. But I mean,
there are some players in our team that are just not Premier Division
right up
sort of players.
Yeah.
Like Harold Foster.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to talk them bad because we love our team, but yeah, maybe a balanced approach. In our thinking is
maybe we just need to give them a little bit more time.
How much time?
But like.
Can we
for any of these teams?
Let's make a semi. Let's just make a semi of the major competition. I know the Sharks won it like last year or 2 years ago or whatever.
The Challenge Cup.
But I want us to compete. Like it feels like we've taken a step back. That's what it feels like.
I don't see any of these teams as they are now competing in the Champions Cup
or the URC.
Well, we're third and fourth, but I don't think we can beat Leinster.
Leinster is too good, and that's bad. For
Not even Glasgow. I don't even think we can beat Glasgow in Glasgow.
And that's fine. I just, for us to say there is no chance of us winning a game.
Bad. That's bad. That's not something we want to say.
We don't like to say it.
No, I think that's the thing. Is we just expect a little bit more.
Yeah. Like, look, it's tough. Like, maybe we can pull something off. I just don't see it. I see that we. It feels like we're not coached well, and maybe our players are
losing to Edinburgh. I mean, no disrespect.
Yeah.
But that hurts.
It hurts. It stings.
Yeah.
Stings the nostrils.
Stings the nostrils. Okay, well, let's wait for the end of the URC season. Everyone's out of everything in Europe now, right?
Yeah. At least now we can just chill those weekends and watch
yeah.
rugby without getting wanting to throw stuff at the TV and that sort of thing.
So we're not actually discussing scores and stuff. It's a lot to discuss. I saw Toulouse narrowly beat Toulon and this and that, but Bath smashed someone.
This isn't sports journalism at all.
No.
It's like, yeah, so and so.
We haven't even reached any conclusion. We don't have answers for the problem.
Yeah.
So currently, I don't think we can compete in the URC and in European competitions.
No. But maybe a day.
The Sharks had a better tight five, maybe.
Yeah, they need locks.
They need locks.
But maybe it's just, I don't know, because the Sharks they've got these great players often. And then they just don't gel.
They don't fire, they don't gel.
Because Jason Jenkins, he's not. He just doesn't fill that role, that like enforcer sort of role where you feel like.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Well, after like achieving absolutely nothing.
You achieved nothing.
Let's cheers to that.
Cheers.